Wrestling Club with Darren and Brett. We've got a show that you'll never forget.
Greetings, Grapple fans, and welcome to WFMU's Wrestling Club, the only space that's safe for all wrestling fans, whether you're casual, lapsed, obsessed, or ashamed. I'm Darren, maybe broadcasting in this snow-covered hills of Jersey City, New Jersey, where tonight we're going to get right into it here on Wrestling Club. But before we do that, I have to remind you, you can join Wrestling Club tonight by calling the hotline at 732-200-CLUB. That's 732-200-CLUB. But before I go any further, let me introduce you to my tag team partner. He is the Lord Stephen to my Sir William, coming to us via satellite from Hollywood, California, Mr. Brett Davis. Brett, how you doing? You doing okay? We're covered in snow and cold here. It's horrible. Uh-oh, Brett. Brett, you have no audio, Brett.
Oh, yeah, I do.
There you are. Oh, there he is. Oh,
there
always with those tricks, always working us.
Yeah, it's nice and hot here. Can be outside in my t-shirt and shorts. This is where the investment is paid off and moving across the country during a pandemic.
There you go.
With very little results so far.
Right now the snow is similar to shorts. The snow comes up to my shorts line, which is above the knee. The knee. It's fine. But yeah, it's very cold, very dangerous, and horrible. This is my first snowstorm in years. The last time we had a snowstorm on the East Coast, I was in Cancun, Mexico.
Huh? Oh, now you're the
lucky one. That's right.
Well, we are not alone. We are also joined by a hidden figure in the world of professional wrestling. Somebody who's responsible for so many great things. But behind the camera, a Philadelphia-based photographer who's taken pictures of every one of your favorite wrestlers 100 times over. Zia Hiltey, welcome to the Wrestling Club.
Hey guys! I am so happy to be here. Even though I think that Brett just pulled a real heel turn when he was talking about his short sleeves and the sunshine he's got going on, but you know what? It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, Brett is definitely the heel. I'm the baby face. I'm the working class guy. I'm your modern day Dusty Rhodes. Brett, he's got the Tully thing going on, where he's kind of like, kind of a dweeb, but it's all right. It's all right. I don't want to turn this into a sparring match between me and my co-host, but Brett, should we just jump right into the news? What do you think?
Well,
it's a lot of what do you got? You got something to say? Say it.
People might not know Zia. Maybe they do.
That's true.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't know the real Zia.
Well, we're gonna find her tonight.
Yeah. So
I'm ready.
What was your introduction to the world of pro wrestling?
All right, what are we talking? Are we talking photography, or are we talking
We're talking like
days?
You're 5 years old, sitting
earliest memory of professional wrestling.
Yeah. Okay, if I'm being honest, the thing that hooked me into professional wrestling was Paul Bearer.
Wow.
He was, and I still love Paul Bearer to this day, but he was the one. I loved it. I think I was a goth child. I loved the urn and the makeup and his voice. I loved everything about him, and I loved the Undertaker as a kid. Couldn't get enough Undertaker.
Wow.
I mean, Paul Bearer is as close to there's an uncanny valley. He's as close to a cartoon as a human being can possibly get.
I'm shocked the amount of non-wrestling fans that know who Paul Bearer is and are like, that's the greatest name. He's so charismatic. What a big star. And I loved Paul Bearer as a kid too, but it's weird to think that this campy manager from 30 years ago is like a crossover star.
Yeah. So you have since become the independent wrestling photographer.
Sure, why not? I'll take those accolades. Sure, why not? Yeah, I think I loved all that. When I was a kid, I was watching Superstars on Saturday mornings. I loved it. I'm an only
Same.
child, so I didn't have like an older sibling to like hook me at all. So I just stumbled into it myself. But I also had a great grandmother apparently who used to watch old wrestling and roller derby with me, like when I was really, really little. So yeah, just the best and the nice crossover. So then I fell out for a while. The whole Attitude Era turned me off. I stopped watching around
Same.
then. So oh, you did too. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it was so much better before because I would like know who like the Intercontinental Champion was, and it wasn't just like sex matches. It wasn't sex wrestling, which I know as a 13-year-old boy I should be really into, but I wanted to see like, I don't know, like Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect, as I knew they were the good wrestlers, you know. But yeah, the Attitude Era wasn't for everybody.
Yeah,
No,
I love those sex matches.
Yeah, not like the bad boy over here.
I was like, I didn't even like know what was going on yet with my body, so
yeah,
it was
I mean,
just like a unique feeling.
Brett still gets a unique feeling when he hears the word slop.
Yeah,
That was a good slop match.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Sonny,
You know,
Sonny,
it
once so true, I slopped you.
You know, it's kind of funny too because like it just kept going even into the 2000s. Like because the Royal Rumble was this weekend, right? Which we can circle back on, but I just watched the 2001 Royal Rumble, and it's wild because I guess that was the gimmick Royal Rumble. I think that was the one, right?
Right. I forget.
It depends. What do you mean by gimmick Royal Rumble?
So it was done in almost two parts. Like the first part of it is like, I hope it was 2001. I watched a couple, so my brain is a little foggy, but there's tons of like, there's weapons. Like they have chairs, they have trash cans, they have baseball bats. So it's like a total slop fest. And then it turns into actual wrestling towards the end, and Stone Cold ends up winning that Rumble. So it's like almost a tale in two parts.
Maybe. First off, don't say slop around me. Second, was Drew Carey in this one?
Yes, Drew Carey's in
Yeah, that's 2001. Yeah.
So
is it the one where Kane eliminated like 13 people? It's like the Kane show. And then in the end, it's okay because Austin wins. But
yeah. So
those
I don't
are weird.
know. Sorry,
continue. No, you continue.
I think I don't remember where I was quite going with this, but I think like the Attitude Era was slowly starting to like transition into the early 2000s. And even though we were getting out of like, some of the sexy wrestling that was happening, I think that like some of the attitude was still very much there. So I hadn't like quite come back to it yet. But
yeah, I would say the like post 2001 was way grosser than pre 2001. Because at least like that, it's like, it's like we're leading into the Jerry Springer thing and it's a phase. But then like by like 2007, they're like still doing this stuff, and it's just like it's not even like just like
Vince
tired and
Vince McMahon saying the N-word. Vince McMahon saying the N-word. Just Piggy James, all that stuff. I mean, I guess they were PG at some point, but they were still trying to be gross. It's bad. I mean, the gross stuff was bad with the Attitude Era, but I thought just like growing up as a fan, watching the 1 hour squash match shows with Gorilla and Bobby, or, you know, Vince or whoever, you know, or Roddy Piper was a commentator for a while. Macho Man was a commentator for a while. Those shows were so easy to watch and so easy to follow and would make you so excited for the big pay-per-views. Like I can remember going to my dad's friend's house for the 1992 Royal Rumble, and like he had like 3 kids, and we all sat there and we like wrote down every entrant and every elimination, and you know, Sid Justice comes out. I was a big Sid Justice fan. I liked him. I thought he, you know, he had that face. He had that
said thing. No one ever. You're the
never.
Only Sid Justice
I know,
fan.
but I thought he was so cool. Like I loved Hulk Hogan too. I mean, I was 6. You know, it was perfect for Hulk was perfect for me. But I saw Sid and I was like, this guy is better than Hulk. He's taller. You know, he's got more hair. We were so into it, but like I couldn't imagine being into. Wrestling just got so confusing after like '98. I think 97, 98. Maybe not 97, but by like 98, 99, it was hard to keep track of.
Well, I can't resist a perfect segue because it was the Royal Rumble this past weekend.
That's right.
Darren, who did we have? Who came back?
Oh boy. Well, let's see. We had Carlito, who could not spit his apple because of COVID. Which, it's nice to see WWE adhering to COVID protocol. I'm sure they do that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're very strict about those things. Who else did we have? Christian came back, which was great. Everybody was so happy to see Christian. And honestly, a shocking return, I thought, because he was, had brain injuries, and usually that's not good. But I guess he went to Daniel Bryan's shaman or whatever and got himself all saged up. So he's okay. More on that later.
We will be talking Total Bellas extensively in this episode.
All Total Bellas fans, get ready. We got some deep dives to do. But who else came back? Carlito, Christian.
We had Victoria.
Edge. Victoria, right? Tori.
Victoria was great because for whatever reason she had been passed over for all of these nostalgia, bring back the women for the Rumble and stuff, and finally she was one of the best. So it was somebody
great. Yeah, well, she was always a good wrestler though.
Yeah, it was somebody to be excited for. Whereas Tori, she's been back a bunch, and and Jillian Hall to a lesser extent, but
I really like.
I love that gimmick with her and Jillian
Billy.
Yeah.
King. I'd say King was pretty excited to see Tori come back. So it's always good to get the King commentating on the Women's Royal Rumble match.
Yeah,
I know you're a big fan of that, Brett. I know you're a huge fan of.
Love to see him pop up. Zia, did you watch the Royal Rumble?
I did watch the Royal Rumble. I think the Royal Rumble. I don't watch a lot of WWE product anymore, but I feel like the Royal Rumble is the one thing that I always have to watch every year. And we make a big production. Yeah, we do a random draw where everybody pulls numbers until there's no numbers left. So, and then everybody puts in money. Pretty happy. I won the draw for the Women's Royal Rumble.
All
Humble
right.
brag. Pretty good.
Good for you.
I did not win the Men's Royal Rumble. I think I pulled. Who did I pull? I pulled Elias and AJ Styles. Also not a big AJ Styles fan.
Cool.
But
a lot of celebration rock going on, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of rocking with Christian values. I like that.
Yeah.
I was going for a theme, I guess. Just real luck of the draw. So.
Our friend King Mike of the Screaming Females calls it Epiphany Rock because so many of the songs say, "Hey!" But I think.
Oh boy, so good.
Again, more talk about the Lumineers coming for our Total Bellas segment.
Did you guys have, who were you voting for? Who were you rooting for to win both the Rumbles?
Well, I had my predictions. Brett asked me my predictions leading up to it. I'm the same as you. I don't watch WWE product every week because I don't have. I can't. Who can watch 3 hours of Raw every week? I don't have that much time. I don't have that much time left. I'm in my mid-30s now. Pushing 40. I can't spend that kind of time doing these things. But I chose Bianca. I did. I said I thought she was going to win, and I'm very happy she did. I love Bianca Belair. What a star. So excited for her at Mania. I think it's going to be great. And then I went out on a limb. I thought we were going to see the return of John Cena. I thought Cena was going to come in and win the Rumble again. I thought they were going to do 2008 because they were talking about, in the video package, they're like, we have big returns at the Royal Rumble, and they showed whoever, I forget, I guess they showed Edge last year, they showed other people, but they didn't show Cena at MSG in 2008, and that was I thought that was the biggest Rumble return ever. It was so great in Madison Square Garden. It was so good. So I thought it was going to be that. I was wrong. John Cena's in Vancouver filming a Marvel TV series, which.
Excuse
good
me,
for
DC.
him.
DC.
I thought it was Marvel. No, it's Marvel. It's
DC.
Marvel. What's the difference?
It's huge.
A big difference.
Huge
yeah.
difference.
Why? They got their. Did I insult your heroes, Brett?
No, I'm insulted because you confidently say it's Marvel when you're wrong.
Why split hairs? Why split hairs, huh?
Yeah.
But no, it was I liked the Rumble. It was good.
I was
Did you
also
think
pulling
you were-
for Bianca. Yeah.
Yeah, Bianca was great. I was pulling for Bianca too. I did want to ask, did you think you were going to get John Cena, or did you think you were going to get the Doctor of Thugonomics?
Oh, I mean, I'll take, you know, I don't like to, I want to be humble, you know, I don't expect too much out of these people. You know, I was happy. I'd be happy with, you know, Hollywood suit John. I like that, you know, red carpet John. I like that. I'm into that.
So wait, are you just like so you're just a big John Cena fan all around? This is what I'm hearing.
I guess so. I guess I can't lie. Actually, I did always like John Cena. You know why I like John Cena? Because my dad loved wrestling. That's how I got into wrestling. But then he didn't like it anymore once he found out it was fake. You know, he's like, well, Bruno was real. You know, these guys aren't real. But he did like John Cena because John Cena was for the troops. So like I always liked John Cena a little bit because I could be like, oh, Dad, you should turn on Raw. Cena's talking about the troops. And he'd be like, hey, I like that John Cena. He's strong. He looks strong. Not as strong as Bruno. But, you know, so.
And you're like, look what I did. My dad and I are bonding. So
Yeah,
we shared like a moment.
Yeah. You know, few and far between. So
Who was your grandma's favorite?
Grandma?
Not you, Darren.
Oh.
Oh, wait, did you have a wrestling grandma too, though? Did your grandma also like wrestling? I love wrestling grannies. I have a real soft spot for wrestling grannies.
I would say the only wrestler my grandma loved was her son, John, aka Ralphus, WCW's Ralphus. Yes, he's my uncle. That's
amazing.
I think that's what Brett was getting at.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I love this.
That's fine.
I love this like reveal pullback behind the curtain. Had no idea.
I mean, we talk about it extensively in other episodes.
I talk about it every week. Every week we bring it up.
Darren brought it up to Terry Funk. It was like, you know, you wrestled my uncle.
You're like, who? I can't do Terry Funk. Man, Brett, you can do him.
Who's your uncle?
Ralphus.
I don't know, Ralph.
There's a girl, a friend of mine from Jersey. Her cousin was Bam Bam Bigelow, which I thought was pretty big.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like it's like
it
one out of 5. I heard an interview with Bam Bam the other day. I don't remember what it was, but it was just Bam Bam talking, and he is the most Jersey Shore dude. Like, he just has the voice, the accent, kind of the IQ level. Not the brightest. Love Bam Bam though. Huge Bam Bam fan.
Yeah, I was actually shifting content from the Specials YouTube page to its own wrestling club, and you know, giving a little special edition to some of the older.
Yeah, that's right. A little remix.
And I made a little New Jersey montage. You could check that out when it goes up. But
it's great.
In researching, I found video of Bam Bam Bigelow getting his head tattooed.
Oh,
when he was just a trainee at Larry Sharp's Monster Factory.
Wow, so he got the tattoo for wrestling.
I think maybe it was a touch-up, but you know, you got to meet his mom, and you know, his mom's like, you know, of course I'm proud of my son. Like, you know, like they're like, oh, do you want your son to be a wrestler? They're like, yeah, like otherwise he'd be in jail. So
I watched
a moment with the Bigelows.
Yeah, I watched Bam Bam wrestle Andre at Madison Square Garden, and he was very excited because he was wrestling Andre the Giant at Madison Square Garden. And Andre apparently hated him. He thought he was like young and, you know, didn't pay his dues. So Andre just beats the shit out of him. It's really like, it doesn't look violent because it's like old broken Andre, but he's like kicking him as hard as he can in the face. And like, and then, you know, it's Andre, so you know he's probably ripping ass out there, doing whatever else Andre did. You know, Andre was always very free with his body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, in other news this week,
Brett, you're so good at segues.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's good. Just get out of there.
I mean, I don't want the Total Bellas conversation to suffer, but it should be noted that the Forbidden Door was opened this week.
Oof.
On AEW Dynamite. We had the debut of Kenta who's been feuding with Jon Moxley in New Japan, though mostly via, promo.
Well, no, right. Well, Kenta has the briefcase to get the title shot for the IWGP United States Championship, which Jon Moxley won at Wrestle Kingdom last year in 2020. But obviously, because of the pandemic, he couldn't go to Japan. So they've been doing it's like a briefcase, but it's like an interim championship almost. And they've been defending it back and forth, and Kenta has it. And I guess Kenta lives in the United States because he lives in Orlando, where he went to NXT and had that part of his life. And he appears a lot in LA at the dojo, the New Japan dojo. They do that. What's that show called? Their show that they do every week, the American show? Strong at New Japan Strong. So I guess Moxley showed up there last week or 2 weeks ago. So this was Kenta showing up, taking out Moxley at the end of a great 6-man match, a great main event for AEW. A great show all around, I thought. I really liked that TV show. But a lot of people are like, oh, it's just Kenta. Oh, it's just Kenta. I wish it was Suzuki or Okada. No way. Honestly, those guys are great. And it would be, of course, it'd be amazing if Minoru Suzuki came out and he takes the hood off and he's got the tongue out and the eyes, and it'd be fantastic. But there'd be no fans there. It'd be Billy Gunn cheering. I don't want that. Mm-hmm. Kenta, I'm a huge fan. And he didn't really, his WWE run was terrible. And I feel like he really deserves this, the first shot, the first shot of the forbidden door being open of this, what looks to be a new era of interpromotional stuff. So I love it. I love Kenta. He's scary.
Yeah, I'm all for it. It'll be fun to see some weird AEW New Japan Dream matches, maybe, or Impact New Japan Dream matches.
They could already do that. They already were there. No, there's no.
Get Cody Deaner in there with Tanahashi.
Oh man, who would you put Cody Deaner against? Would it be Tanahashi? I'm thinking more Ishimori.
Who's the other fat guy that's not that's not like the good one, the one that's just kind of average? I'd pick him. I'd throw him in the G1.
I think he has a problem. I feel like I saw something in the news about him being sick or something. So
yeah.
Then the good one. I don't know.
Okay, great.
Way to go,
just trying to
Brett.
be mean to Impact.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Yeah, they already have
Brett.
enough problems.
All right. Any other news, Darren?
Well, your favorite Maki Itoh is in the AEW Women's Tournament, the Challenger Tournament. I forget what the exact name of it, but it's one bracket's in the United States, one bracket is in Japan. I just read too that the Japanese matches will be taped in Japan with no fans. There's a number of great talent in the matches. There's Aja Kong is in the tournament, Maki Itoh's in the tournament. Riho's on the American side. I forget who else is in it.
Ryo Mizunami, Emi Sakura.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a fun thing. I'm very excited to see Maki Itoh. And Aja Kong and all, they're all cool, but Maki Itoh is, as we've talked extensively about on this show, I think a star
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Very excited. They've needed this kind of focus on the women's division for as long as they've been a promotion. So it's overdue, but I am excited for it. I thought the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match on Wednesday was great. So yeah, I'm AEW looks good. I think they're I'm excited for the future for them. The other guys, not so much. Although Drew's got that big sword, and Sheamus has those nerdy suspenders, so that's gonna be night one of WrestleMania. So getting excited for that. That'll be fine.
Yeah. Zia, as somebody that knows about half the roster, if not 75% of it, do you watch AEW, and what's your weekly intake of that?
I do, and humble brag, I just I bought the Orange Cassidy action figure. I call it the Orange Cassidy doll. It came in this week, and it's awesome. It's so cool. But yeah, I try and watch every week. I did not actually watch this week, surprisingly, but I caught up on the recaps. But I think it's good. I think you guys are right, though. I think that the women's division hasn't gotten the attention that it deserves, for sure. It seems so, like, especially when like Chris Stat got injured. I think that was like a huge hit for them.
And they lost Rio, and when they lost Rio too, you know, she had been such a focus.
Yuka Sakazaki, like all those people that they introduced as like this is our women's division, are no longer there. Right. Are either stuck in Japan or have gone elsewhere, you know, or you know, just left the business. It's like it needs a rebuilding, and I think this could be a great opportunity because so far, you know, Impact is out like doing them with their women's division.
I know they signed so many good female wrestlers to that brand, like even with like Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly and but I don't watch Impact, but like I can tell that they have like a really strong grouping of like powerful wrestlers there right now, and I really wish that AEW would put more emphasis into that and step it up a little bit more. So
yeah, Deonna Purrazzo feels like she is a big fish in a small pond on that show. And no offense to everybody else that's part of that roster, but it's just like she sticks out.
The only besides Kenny and Don Callis now, like I really like that storyline. The only watchable part of Impact week to week is the women's division. Or as they call it, the Knockouts division. Let's not.
Yeah.
Oof. Let's get the oof. Is right.
I also like. Did we talk about Susan on the show? Zia, are you aware of Susan?
No. Who is Susan?
Well, Susan is their new top star.
Oh boy.
Dresses in like sort of a kind of plain like pantsuit. Like kind of just looks like like somebody that you see at your office, and then like you never think about their personal life, and when you do, you're like, ugh. Like just kind of like hair's a little bit out of place, glasses are kind of like out of style, but it is the third incarnation of Su Yung. There's Su Yung, the undead bride. There's Susie, sort of the childlike iteration. Very shy and nervous, and then now Susan, who's just kind of like somebody at your office.
Has there ever been
her catchphrase is "Hi, I'm Susan."
No.
Has there? You mentioned childlike wrestlers. Has there ever been a good childlike wrestler? I don't. Besides, like a wrestling child, like Brody Lee Jr. Fantastic. Love Brody Lee Jr. But like
Bailey.
Was she childlike?
I think Susie was good too. I think the performance was there. It's happening.
I'm just thinking.
Who was the girl that got was on like the AEW original pay-per-view and then left? Who? What is her name? Why is it failing me? She's a Chicago wrestler. She actually was
Kylie Ray.
Yeah. Kylie Ray.
Mm-hmm.
What about Kylie Ray? She's a little childlike, right?
Yeah, she was good too.
I mean,
she didn't develop because you know she was on and off. But
I guess I'm just thinking about Alexa Bliss. Like, that's who I'm thinking of in my head.
That is bad.
Really bad. The worst.
But do these other people have powers?
She does have powers.
Actually, Su Yung does have powers, so I take that back.
That's she does. She is undead. She is undead and weird.
We did have, speaking of Alexa Bliss, we did have an over-under bet on how many people were dressed like the Joker, came out dressed like the Joker during the Royal Rumble, which was many. There were at least 5 Joker.
5. Okay, costumes. Who are our 5 Jokers?
Now I have to pull them all up again. Well, okay, so it was Alexa Bliss. I'm gonna pull it up. We'll keep chatting, and I will pull it up. We'll circle back around.
I mean, is Jeff Hardy considered Joker? Because I feel like he predates Joker. If anything, Joker's inspired by Jeff Hardy.
Like the new like take on Joker has those like arm sleeves.
Shotzi's kind of Joker-esque a little bit.
Yeah, so Shotzi was a little Joker-esque. Rhea Ripley was a little Joker-esque.
Oh yeah.
Not Shayna Baszler. You know what? I also, to get into this, I thought that the fashion decisions at the Rumble this year were also pretty poor. Like Shayna Baszler's outfit, where she looked basically naked, not a good look.
We have a
Natty
very
looked
fair weather friend who never watches wrestling except for the Rumble, and that was his big comment too. He was like, why are these people dressed like this?
You know, non-wrestling watchers are some of my favorite people to watch wrestling with because they have the best commentary. It's great.
I remember I watched, I remember which AEW show. It was their May pay-per-view this year. I guess that was Double or Nothing. And it was Cody. I forget what Cody's match, but I was really excited for Cody's match. I forget who he was wrestling. And my roommate, who never watches wrestling, like, she's the nicest person. She bakes for us on our birthdays. The sweetest human. I'm like, oh, watch wrestling with me. You'll like this guy, Cody. He comes out with that neck tattoo. It's like, why is that on his neck? What is that? Well, you see, he's the American Nightmare because his dad was the American Dream. It was rough. We don't watch wrestling together anymore.
You know, we forgot to mention the man upstairs, Isaiah, our producer. Isaiah, did you watch the Royal Rumble? Oh, okay.
But he did hear the recap on CBS News.
Oh, good.
He couldn't. We talked about it briefly. He was shocked about Edge coming back. Shocked him.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, he's kind of shocking. Whenever he appears, I think he looks like a quantum leap time traveler. Like he never quite knows where he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you want to hear about the Rumble, hear the recap on the Daily.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, check out NPR's hour-long special.
Yeah.
We've got, again, the preeminent wrestling photographer.
George Napolitano, step aside.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette, go back to your castle. Is he a wrestling photographer? Do people think of him that way? I don't know.
Yeah, you're the new Paul Heyman.
The new Paul Heyman, the new Bill Apter.
Except
I've met Bill Apter, and he was actually really nice to me and would like he was like, oh, I used to be a wrestling photographer and like love to give me like some tricks of the trade, I guess.
I love that so much. Did you see when it was the anniversary of Bruno defeating Ivan Koloff defeating Bruno, and Bill Apter was like, I want to share my memories of that because I was there taking pictures, and like he has like a statue of Bruno, and he like takes its picture and is like play acting with the statue in his like wrestling room. It's so funny and cute. It's like a cute thing. I like Uncle Bill. We're gonna start calling him Uncle Bill on Wrestling Club.
Yeah. So how did you get into this?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We like totally went from A to C, and now we're looping back to B again. But I do comedy too, and I met Bryce Remsburg, the referee. I think I just met him around like doing comedy stuff, and then I have this wild story I'll have to share with you guys. How I wrestled Larry Sweeney at a mattress wrestling party in a warehouse. That's a great story. I will share it for another time.
I know that story.
Oh, I love that. I love that you know that story.
I don't want to jump into your. I'm gonna just jump into mine because it's. I was on. Okay, so it was 2000, 2011, 2010, somewhere around there. And, I'm getting on OkCupid. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm not much of an online dater. It really wasn't my thing. But I was giving it an honest chance. I was giving it the honest try. And I'm going through someone's pictures. And I see she's dressed up with the wild clothes and the face paint. And she's wrestling Larry Sweeney. So I'm like, I have to talk to her. And I did. I went on a date with her to a Renaissance fair, and it didn't really work out. It was fine. I'm sure she's a nice person, but
yeah, let's get the play-by-play of this.
But I got to hear about
because I've heard this story over and over again.
Right, right.
Know.
But I don't know what happened because I was there. I just heard the Darren match with the Texarkana heavyweight champion interim. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know. So and now I'm racking my brain to try and figure out maybe who that was, but like, it was crazy. It was just, It was, I mean, this was also like a golden age of Philadelphia I feel like it doesn't exist anymore, when it was like lawless and there were warehouse parties.
Oh, I remember. I did so well in Philly then. Now, oh boy, not so
Not
much.
so
But
much.
then,
Yeah, I'm
Then-
sure
So
you
now-
two have crossed paths before.
I'm sure
probably.
we have.
Yeah,
Yeah, now we have the condos and all the artists moved away, and
Uh-huh.
but this was a golden age. Yeah, it was a mattress wrestling party. I was just getting back into wrestling again. I met Bryce. He was like, I do this thing called Chikara. And I was a photography graduate of college, not doing anything. So I got invited to this party, and I was one of the only people that I feel like showed up in like a costume. I was in a children's I was in a Bianca from Street Fighter, a Bianca costume.
Uh-huh.
And everybody brought all these, I mean, in the time of not bed bugs, they brought mattresses in off the street.
There were bed bugs there.
There were
yeah.
bed bugs, and yep.
I can't believe that wasn't a thing that I didn't think about then. But so it was in this warehouse. They threw all these mattresses on the floor, and they just encouraged people to have wrestling matches.
Okay.
And so it was.
Where
actually,
was I?
I don't know where you were. You were.
It's my time.
It was actually like pretty tame, because like, you know, people don't really know how to wrestle and don't know how to put on a wrestling match. So Bryce, so in comes Bryce. Bryce showed up with Larry Sweeney, who at this time was on Ring of Honor, and he had missed his plane home. So he was just tagging along with Bryce, who was invited to be a professional referee at the event. And so Larry showed up with his ICWA Texarkana Championship belt and wanted to pull an Andy Kaufman, where he wrestled a bunch of women at the wrestling party. Right. So Bryce, knowing that I understood a little bit about wrestling, enough that like I watched it on TV, wanted me to be in on it. So he got me and like 4 other girls.
You were his Laurie Anderson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like the ringer in this situation. So it was just crazy. There were like 300 people there. Like before I knew it, like I was standing on these mattresses in this like children's Bianca costume, surrounded by like 300 screaming people. And Larry Sweeney, who came over to us, introduced himself, was like very nice, but then very quickly turned into Larry Sweeney, the wrestler, and like threw us back, ripped his shirt off, pulled a beer out of somebody's hand and dumped it all over his body, and then just like went to town and started trying to like actually wrestle us on these mattresses. So so it was great.
Larry Sweeney was my favorite performer when I got back into wrestling. Just because like my all-time favorite, number 1 is Bobby the Brain Heenan, right? And Larry Sweeney was like the next generation Bobby Heenan, you know. And I remember those. He would wrestle people in parking lots, and he was like doing this like guerrilla style wrestling. That was so. He's so ahead of his time. I mean, it's a shame that it's a tragedy that he passed away so young. Because he would have been. God, could you imagine him on AEW now? I mean, he would have been. He's the best. The best.
He'd be a megastar.
I mean, between NXT, between AEW, like he would have been able to go wherever he wanted. He would have been writing his own checks. So great. Because he was like the only guy. I felt like he was the only guy on the indie scene that got the carny aspect of wrestling at that time, and just was. I mean, he's almost. I mean, MJF is kind of like that now too, but. I don't know. Larry was so good. I love Larry Sweeney stories.
Imagine Larry Sweeney managing MJF.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Anybody. I mean, he was just like he's just so great. So funny. What did I watched recently? It was like some ROH DVD extra of Larry Sweeney taking Chris Hero on the town. And it's like, I mean, I love Chris Hero too, but Chris Hero, not cool ever, unfortunately. I mean, he's got the Superman shirt on. I mean, I love Chris Hero, but Larry's he's talking either in Vegas, Larry's talking to everybody. He's working everybody. He's got the phone going. Like, it's unbelievable. I love Larry Sweeney.
He's great. He was like next level with how good he was. And also just like I mean, as a person too, just like a totally lovely, wonderful guy. Like everybody loved him. He always
Right.
was like he always was like cracking jokes and laughing. Like everybody gravitated to him. Like he was an awesome dude.
Sure. I mean, he's just he had unreal charisma. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
and nobody on the indie scene at that time, in my opinion, had that level of charisma. Like none of them did. None of the ROH guys. I mean, that was the thing. ROH, great wrestling, kind of boring characters. Not. I enjoyed it. I loved it, but I mean, Larry was just next level. Sweet and sour with, Claudio and Chris Hero. Could you imagine? I mean, those guys were in NXT together. You could have had. What a shame. What a shame.
I know, such a shame. That was awesome though. That was like, I was really happy to have that experience with him because like, so my gateway to photography was through Chikara. I started shooting Chikara after that.
Right.
But he was there like a little bit before me. So had I not had that overlap with him, I probably never would have like ever met him.
Yeah.
When I was starting, it was like he was just kind of phasing out, I think leaving to go to Ring of Honor, and like Claudio Cesaro was there. So like we had an overlap for like a year or two. But yeah, it just was like incredible. And like Larry Sweeney, like it just was such a special experience. And he completely just like worked an entire room of like 300 non-wrestling fans. Like he had everybody like captivated by what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. So
it was
good.
awesome.
Such an inspiration for Brett and I. Like we've wrestled in some horrible places. And we're not trained wrestlers.
Yeah.
But we thought we could, translate wrestling psychology to whatever shitty Brooklyn bars we've wrestled in.
Yeah. If anybody knows Aviv in Brooklyn, we had a Falls Count Anywhere match there.
In the bathroom.
We had a big match at Villain that went out onto the street.
Oh my God. We were really sad.
We're lame.
But yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Larry Sweeney, for giving us the inspiration for that.
Yeah, totally.
Well, see, we could do a whole other episode about your stories from the world of independent wrestling. And you know what? We will. We have it in the calendar. March 25th, we're going to do an audio gallery.
Yeah.
The perfect venue
Yeah.
for wrestling photography, an audio podcast.
Yeah. Well, you'll be able to check it out on our new YouTube page too. But
that's right.
We'll get the stories behind the pics.
That's right.
Please check out Zia's stuff online. But it is time for the main event.
Ding, ding, ding.
In your time, did you ever photograph and interact with Bryan Danielson?
Oh, you know what? So I did photograph Bryan Danielson. He was known as Daniel Bryan at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how it works? It was the reverse.
Vice
No,
versa.
it's the other way.
No, okay. So he did a King of Trios in 2009, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I just watched this the other day. He was on Team Uppercut. So it was Claudio, Bryan Danielson, and who was the last?
David Taylor.
Dave Taylor, yeah.
It was David Taylor. I remember that King of Trios. Was that the one with Manami Toyota too? Or was she the next year?
She might have done the next year.
Yeah,
but
those King of Trios were so exciting for independent wrestling in that era.
Yeah.
I remember Team Uppercut.
Those were like the Primavera sound of pro wrestling. It's like true, like deep cuts and like great temporary people, and in weird combinations too. You'd have like Demolition. You'd have all sorts.
Oh
of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God, I could tell you so many great stories. Like I talked, and we'll save this for next time. But like I've talked to Demolition about when they did the fair circuit and wrestled bears. Like
I'm so happy.
I have so many good stories.
Bear wrestling way too often on this show.
I love Demolition. I love Axe. I love Smash. All day.
And great guys, like real, just like nice grandfatherly men, like really up there.
They were, Axe was kind of like a grandfatherly man when he was in Demolition. He was very old, much older than everybody else. He was like almost 50 when he was doing that.
Yeah,
do you have any recollections of your time talking to the American Dragon?
So unfortunately, I never got to talk to him because at that time I was too scared that was the first show I ever shot. And I was too scared to go backstage. But what I can tell you is my friends who were good friends with him loved him. Like I think he was already like kind of like a granola hippie at the time, super goofy, maybe even vegetarian at that time. So
Does anybody you talk to now that knew him then, how do they reconcile the fact that now he is an E-network reality star?
I have no idea, and I think I need to ask because we were kind of talking about this earlier. I find it very hard to believe that he is so okay with doing Total Bellas.
Yeah, I mean it's weird, but also puts food on the table and stuff. And
I think he's like he loves his wife, and her and Nikki are obviously really into it, and he seems like a kind of go with the flow kind of guy. He doesn't seem like he's gonna get too upset about things. I mean, it's reality. I mean, there are worse sins in the world than reality TV. Like who's reality TV really hurting? Well, I mean, I've been on a couple of reality TV sets where I've seen people get hurt, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, Darren is a in the way that you work on wrestling shows. Darren works on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, or no, New York,
New York, New Jersey. I've seen it, and oh boy.
Well, I can say that. So I can say that I have never really liking wrestling. I've never really liked reality TV. But quarantine has done a funny thing to my brain where I am unable to handle anything that is like serious or is gonna upset me. And so I've been watching a lot of reality trash TV because it's like literally all my brain can handle. So
wait, are you saying Total Bellas is trash TV? Are you saying it doesn't make you feel?
Let me hold on. Let me put a pin in that. What I will say is that I've worked the gamut from true trash, like 90 Day Fiance and Are You the One, to the more high caliber reality TV, such as Total Bellas, which I actually do feel like is in two completely different realms. And I do actually, because I heard this is a Total Bellas safe space, I enjoy Total Bellas. I think it's pretty good.
I like it too. I like the Bellas are captivating characters in some. I mean, they are extreme normies. Maybe not. I'm sure they play it up, but they're they kind of play up the I'm not so smart, but I'm horny all the time thing, and it's funny. They play it well. Yeah, I like Total Bellas.
Well, let's show a pair of clips to start us off. We were talking about the American Dragon. Let's see the earliest promo of the American Dragon that I could find. This is from TWA, the Texas Wrestling Alliance.
Sorry to interrupt, but 2 weeks ago, you saw my television title match. You saw how it went down. All I'm asking for is one more shot at that TV title.
Well, I tell you what, Dragon,
not so fast, Whistle Britches.
His opponent, he was trained in Tokyo, Japan. He hails from Aberdeen, Washington. Please welcome the American Dragon. This be ended like that. Whoa! Whoa! My goodness!
So we have a high-flying masked wrestler from Washington. And then a few years later, we go to the WWE Diva Search, where two San Diego twins began to steal America's hearts. Let's take a look.
Two for day 2. Was that like a soft porno intro?
Yeah. Are you the bad twin?
Yeah, I'm the bad twin. So I wore my horns.
Do you guys ever switch places?
We did like a few times in school, and then in college, there's those days where you're hungover or whatever, don't want to go to class. She went to class sometimes for me.
Okay. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. So yeah, that was Daniel Bryan and Spanky, aka Brian Kendrick, and Shawn Michaels' wrestling school promotion.
Rudy Boy.
the total diva or the diva search, which we heard a little bit from Mike the Miz Mizanin, who was hosting that. Unlikely pair, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. But they got married and they fell in love, and it just so happened that WWE was doing their Total Divas reality show, a show that I only watched on planes, and then it was such a success that they morphed it into Total Bellas to coincide with the Bellas' retirement from wrestling. So it is a weird anomaly where WWE produces a show that has literally nothing to do with pro wrestling.
Was John Cena originally on Total Bellas?
Absolutely.
So he was there. So like that's
For 3
obviously
seasons.
wow. So is this his first season not on Total Bellas?
No, there's 3
Oh, I
seasons he's not on.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But he was on. But no, he was on Total Divas. But was he on Total? He was never on Total Bellas then.
He was.
Oh
John
wait,
Cena. He was.
yeah. Sorry, I think I
Sorry, I'm
misunderstood.
confused.
I don't think he really showed up on Total because I watched Total Divas too. I don't think he showed up on Total Divas that much, but I think the Bella Twins were so engaging that they just were like, give them their own spinoff.
Right.
Yeah. I think like John Cena on Total Divas was kind of like Kanye West on the Kardashian show, where it's like he's there and he's talked about a lot, but he's not like
I don't know. I feel like
storylines.
I know I've seen episodes of either Total Bellas or Total Divas where it's John Cena, Daniel Bryan, and John Laurinaitis all hanging out, and it's
that's
weird.
Total Bellas. That is
Total Bellas. Okay, so how mad do you think they were at John Cena when he's like, "We're not getting married. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm moving on to comic book land or whatever he's doing now." They must have been so upset because it's obvious that I shouldn't say I love Artem, but I think Artem does a good job in his role. But
I feel like you guys are going to get into an argument here because Brett, I feel like you're a huge Artem fan, and then we have Darren, who's a big Cena lover. So this is a point of contention for you guys.
Mm-hmm. I'm a big Artem fan. We'll get into him in a second, but yeah, Zia, what are your thoughts on the Cena Bella marriage? Like, was it a marriage of convenience?
I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I speak for all of us when I say we know that relationship wasn't really going to work. So, it's nice to see them in new relationships and way happier.
Yeah.
John just got married, didn't he?
He did.
After saying he would never get married again. Oh boy.
I know. So like
so mad.
A real smarty pants lady.
I mean, I was all for the John Cena Nikki Bella relationship. I watched it develop, and when they broke up, I was also going through a breakup myself, which culminated into a weird moment where I saw my ex and Nikki Bella together in a photo.
What? Oh my god!
Like out of a weird coincidence, and I was like, of course they're hanging out.
Of course this would happen.
Yeah, very strange how it happened, but yeah. So I'm very happy that she found new love with Artem. Let's go into a little bit of who Artem is. He was a dancer that was on Dancing with the Stars. Let's take a look at him in action with Patti LaBelle.
Two for day 2.
This week is my Jam Monday, so I've chosen In the Club by 50 Cent. We're going to pretend we're at the club.
Dance together now.
Today
we
I
don't
find
need
out
the
that you hurt your knee, so I'm not really sure
There's audio.
in what kind of shape or form she's right now.
He worked really well with Patti. He was 70 years old, and he made her look like, at least 40.
Brett, I'm so impressed by all the work you put into this.
Yeah, I did a lot of research on Artem. We know Artem Chignetsev, who is Russian. He specializes in Latin dance. Here is him with Misha Barton. This was a rough thing for Artem because he had to deal with
really
a difficult diva-like personality for the first time in his career.
Misha's reaction
Or maybe not the first
after
time, at least the
Monday
first time
Night Show
publicly.
was,
Misha Barton
I think,
seemed to be a bit of a
upsetting.
handful.
I was relying on you to
won
make
her
it a
over,
positive experience.
and
You
with a
were already
smile,
in the zone of like
worked past
being
the
not wanting to do
problems
this.
and, became her biggest cheerleader. So I know.
Like, I can't do another week of
Good
this.
hands.
He's not getting it, and it's
Because
over
I saw
for
him
me.
do that.
I think this
yeah.
week
Okay,
she feels
okay.
determined to show that she is wanting to do this and she does care.
That's made the whole thing like.
Championships does Artem have?
He has
Whoa.
so many dancing
Compared to
championships.
Cena, look, he is the Roman Reigns of Total Bellas, because they had John Cena for a long time. John Cena went on to better things, and now they got to bring in Roman. You know what? You know what I mean? Roman's gotten much better over the years, but this is suffering succotash level Roman, in my opinion. Artem, not a lot going there. You know what?
John Cena had to be carried in matches, but what John Cena?
Have you ever seen John Cena versus the Great Khali? It's an okay match.
Yeah.
And it's not because of the Great Khali, who I also love. I also love the Great Khali, but John Cena carried him to a merely bad match. So I think John Cena deserves a little more credit there. And
Artem carried Maureen McCormick. He carried Nancy Kerrigan.
Nancy Kerrigan was an Olympic figure skater.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
That's basically dancing on the ice, pal.
And Bachelor contestant Caitlin Bristow, he carried her all the way to place.
Big deal. John Cena, WrestleMania, okay? John Cena, SummerSlam, okay? Stadiums, okay? John Cena, he's got the armbands. He had the Rock. Took him down.
Has armbands too.
Wait. I think I know how I can bring us together on this one.
Okay. No, now
Artem is basically the John Cena of Dancing with the Stars. That's what Brett just told us right here. Wow. So maybe you should be happy about that at least Nikki Bella is with the cream of the crop of Dancing
screened 3 episodes of Total Bellas, and all I saw was Artem being like, "No, Nikki, I don't want to have sex with you because my penis will touch the baby." Do you think John Cena gives a fuck? John Cena is gonna he's not having sex with her no matter what.
Yeah.
He was not doing it. But that's because he respects his body.
Hey, he's got
whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm digging myself a hole here. But
I don't even know what we're arguing about anymore, honestly.
You know what? You're right. They're both fine fellas who stole the heart of a wonderful person.
Darren, you did take notes watching these episodes.
I did. I was
what
sending
other storylines did
I
you
gotta go back up.
Encounter?
Let's see.
I can't believe you guys watched episodes. I'm so happy and proud that I have somebody to talk to about this with.
Yeah, okay, I watched some of them on my own volition. I know about season 1. I also saw that. I was like, yeah, I could catch up on these in a day, and I saw they're all 40 minutes.
Yeah, I watched. I did watch a couple months ago. I watched. It was like episode 1 was after SmackDown or Raw one night, so I watched it, and it was just like literally the first scene is just like Nikki asking Brie, like lifting up her skirt and be like, "Does my vagina look puffy?" I was like, "All right," but no, I watched. What did I watch today? Today, okay, so I got some of my notes here. Brie invited Nikki, Artem, and Mom on her and Daniel's baby moon, and Artem and Daniel are going to the woods to do drugs. However, that was just a prank. They weren't really doing drugs. They were just lying to the twins to upset them for a joke.
But did you see this, Zia? Because I really like this. Daniel's or Brian is like, what if I'm like, I text her like, I am the fire, I am the moon. Yeah. I want to change my name to Jesus.
Our love is as vast as Father Sky. Also, there was a storyline about how Artem doesn't want a will, but Nikki thinks he needs one, which a little bit of a threat there. What else do we got?
Can I just say that I would love to just listen to you summarize Total Bella's episodes to me? Like, I would just sign up for that. That's great.
Well, you're living the dream then. We had Daniel so Daniel takes Artem to his shaman, which was from the previous season.
We
Where
actually
Daniel
have a,
goes into.
To interrupt you, Darren, we have a clip of the shaman.
So they're it's season 2. They're going to the yurt to have some sort of spiritual experience. Let's go to the clip.
Wrestlers, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. You coming on your spiritual journey?
Yes. Brian wants us to go to a Native American healer. I know Brian loves the Native American culture.
Sacred Mother, we're praying to you.
I look over at Brian. I'm like, oh, something's serious going on.
You born anew.
Oh no.
Internally, I was the observer, observing this thing going on and going, this is really weird, and I'm not controlling any of this.
Anybody understand how much you resent yourself? How much could anybody understand?
Sweet face, why do you resent yourself?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So they're playing off of that, and Daniel's like, because Bree invited the whole family on their baby moon. Daniel's like, I'm gonna prank them and say that we took ayahuasca. Who the girls, the twins, keep calling it Ashkenazi.
Ashkenazi, yeah.
Ashkenazi. Yeah. And also Nikki keeps saying, instead of saying she received texts from the boys, she keeps saying, I got texts from them. Which is just, I love Nikki. I love her verbiage. But yep. So and then they're driving to the woods to rescue them because they think that they're both having bad trips. And Nikki has to pee, and Bree just says, "Just tinkle in your panties." So that's. I'm happy the producers got that line in. You know, let's just take that line again, Bree. Yeah, it was great. Then they got there. It was all a big prank. Daniel's in his yurt, which is just hangs out in his yurt all the time, which is, it's what I do when I go on a bike ride with my soon-to-be brother-in-law, future brother-in-law, whatever. Is I bring my yurt with me, but that's fine. Let's see. Oh, and I watched one other episode. This one was kind of what I was expecting from Total Bellas. This episode was about how horny Nikki was, how Artem wouldn't have sex with her. Bree mentioned that she had a dream where Artem played Russian rap at the birth of Nikki's child, but Nikki wanted Lumineers. So that just reveals Bree's, vast internal life, that this is what her subconscious mind is thinking about. That's okay. Nikki was skinny dipping. They said, "Oh, Nikki, the kids over next door are seeing you're naked, the little boys," and she's like, "But they like it. They like it. I'm a MILF." It's like, all right, but they were lying to her about that as well. I think. How much, Zia? You watch a lot of Total Bellas. How much of it is them lying to each other for jokes, just lying to upset each other, to laugh at?
A good portion of it, I'd say.
That's good.
For two reasons. They're sisters and they're also Scorpios. I mean, I'll spare you guys on the astrology talk, but that is a big part of what I see happening with the twins. So,
what are your favorite storylines from this season?
Man, I'm happy that you guys brought up the Artem and Brian one, because I was actually talking to my boyfriend about this. He's like, "Well, you have to bring up the ayahuasca. Like, you have to bring that up."
Ashkenazi?
Ashkenazi?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the final episode by any chance, which just debuted?
No, I didn't get there.
I saw the birth of little Buddy Dessert, which is his name.
Yeah.
Buddy Dessert Danielson, and what's the boy's name?
Buddy and Mateo.
Mateo, Artemovich, Bella.
Is Artem? I hope Artem takes Nikki's name.
I think it might be a Shignetsev or maybe a
kind of how like Alicia Fox became a Bella.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, remember that? I will say that they did film this entire last season during the pandemic, which is pretty wild if you think about it, especially because in a lot of scenes they are not wearing masks. But
No, it's like at their baby shower with over a dozen people.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about stuff like that because what I started to assume, because I mean, it's hard not to watch this stuff and just think about this because of what we're going through. But I started to think, are they anti-COVID or the anti-mask? But I also listen to their podcast now because I'm in super deep on the Bella Army. And I can confirm that they actually are very COVID conscious. And that I guess in order to do this, they set up like a very careful bubble in order to like maintain all this filming.
That's like what they would do, I think.
Yeah.
For just I know from my life in reality show production, crews are significantly reduced. There's like no producers really. It's just camera, audio, a director, and like everybody stays away from each other. Like every set is closed so that you can get, especially when you're doing a reality show with your family, they're not really going anywhere. I mean, you see where they went to Flagstaff, like that's not usually they'd be going to restaurants or going shopping or going around LA or I guess they live in San Diego, right? Because it's not LA. But
well, so actually funny you bring that up because in the last episode, not to spoil it for you guys, they live in Phoenix, but Nikki impulsively is going through she's going through postpartum depression. Mm-hmm. And so she impulsively buys a house in Napa Valley. Mm-hmm. So they move to Bree buys the house first. Nikki finds a house that's right next to her. She loses the house, and so she just impulsively buys another house without even telling Artem. Can you believe that?
Oh my God!
Doesn't even tell him.
And he's busy like filming the show.
Yeah, so he's gotten invited back to Dancing with the Stars, which is like also big.
Right.
So he's Dancing with the Stars. Nikki's going through this postpartum depression. She impulsively buys this house. They go to look at it, and it's just like a wreck. It's like a total lemon of a house, and she's gonna have to redo everything.
Wow, season 4.
Yeah, so
it's good. Bob Vila season.
People love that. I feel like that's a thing people are really into because they're just maybe because they're just in their houses all the time. Everybody's really into like home improvement shows. Like what's the one? It's like I think it's like I forget what it's called. It's like 4 old guys that are like, I'm gonna show you how to put the hinges on a door the proper way, and then they're like really nice old men. I forget what it's called. Someone's gonna remember.
It's not This Old House, right?
No, it is This Old House. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, This Old House. My mom used to watch that so often, and I found it very boring. But it has the nicest theme music I've ever heard for anything, and I'm just gonna play it while people talk.
We'll just smile about it. We'll just maybe but I feel like that's a good thing for a reality show to do. Like, oh, here comes the music.
Oh yeah.
I really love theme songs.
It's nice, right?
Yeah.
It's nice, yeah.
This is not the one I was thinking of. Oh, this is it. Oh.
You're doing.
Yeah. This is the one. That was the outro music.
Wow. Walking in a winter wonderland.
It's got like an empty nest like vibe to it.
Yeah. Very pleasant. Very pleasant.
Honestly, yeah, they should adopt this as the Total Bellas thing.
I love the clarinet. They were like, we need a song with a strong clarinet opener.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm excited for I guess they're done with season 3. Season 4 is coming next.
No, season 6, season 7. We're in season 7.
This is season 7.
And there's been like 20 seasons of Total Divas, right? Is that still happening?
I don't know. I've been waiting for. I mean, Total Bellas is off. It's on hiatus now until whenever. So I'm waiting for my Total Divas to come back. I don't know when that's going to happen. Excited to see who's on it.
I would think Total Bellas would be much easier to shoot because they are family. They did live next to each other. They can have their little bubble and it's fine. Total Divas is a totally different story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't really get them all you can't do those like big all cast events, you know, where you have all the boyfriends and like you can't do that. So what are you going to do? Like, how much can you really get out of like going to Nia Jax's house in Tampa or wherever she lives? Like, it's not going to be, I mean, it's fine for one episode, but to get a whole season, going to be tough. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, what? You've seen some of the the biggest names in wrestling at their very starts, arguably, especially this generation now of like people coming up there, MJFs, your Orange Cassidys, that you know are tomorrow's household names. You saw them, you know, in small venues, so I feel like you're maybe the expert of, you know, talent's chances to maybe blow up because you've seen it happen firsthand. So with the three offspring, the three youngest members of the Bella Army, what do you think their chances are? I'm going to start with the oldest, Birdie Joe Danielson.
Great question, Brett. I think that Birdie has, you know, it all depends if they're interested in wrestling or not. But I think that Birdie seems like she's a real character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she has, I don't know if that's just a kid thing or if that's just like because I don't know anything about children, or if she's just incredibly special. But she seems to, you know, from what I've seen on Total Bellas, she seems like very clever, very funny. I do think that the two younger boys are going to be pushed into being a tag team, though.
Yeah, I mean, with Birdie Joe, she's got the charisma. I could see her jobbing to Steph in like 2040.
Or Aurora Rose.
Or, yeah, that's right. She'd be jobbing to Aurora. God, they're going to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or what about John Moxley's future child?
That's going to be a beautiful baby.
He could go either way.
Yeah.
I love Renee Young. She's like one of my favorite people in the whole world. I've never met her, but
I love her too. Yeah,
honestly,
she's so talented.
Yeah,
like she's the best broadcaster they've had in a generation. She's so good, and they just got rid of her, so or they let her leave.
No, she's back. She's back on backstage, or was for a while.
Well, I think she had the Fox deal, right? She has a deal with Fox, so she can do that. But she ain't got nothing to do with WWE. I mean, she's not doing their shows anymore.
No.
Good for her. Good for her.
Honestly, I recommend somebody go to YouTube, just type in Renee Young and watch all of her backstage interviews. They're so charming.
Yeah.
Her new podcast is fun too.
Oh yeah, I haven't listened to it, but I've been meaning to.
I heard the CM Punk episode.
I listened to that too. I had to.
Oh yeah. Gosh. Did he ever they never put him on Total Divas, did they? He never had to do that tour. Good for him. Good for him.
He would never do that. He would never do that in a million years.
I know.
I remember like AJ Lee wasn't on it, which like probably took some like editing. Like maybe you'd see her in the ring or something, but she was never like around. And I noticed this season Big Johnny was like framed out of shots a lot.
He was. I noticed that.
Johnny
and there's
Ace.
also see, it's hard too because I'm bouncing around. Like I'm so bored. I'm now going back. So I started watching season 4 again, and this is when Nikki Bella has just broken up with John Cena and is like living her best single life. So Johnny Ace is on a lot this season, and they just had a really weird episode where Brie Bella wants to go to to get Johnny Ace a doctor for his voice.
I saw this episode.
It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah. What's wrong with my voice?
Because he reveals, I didn't know this, but he reveals that he was injured in a match, and it just made his voice turn into his Muppet voice he has now.
I think, that's right. I remember hearing that story. It's so weird that he's a Road Warrior brother. There's an episode of this wrestling club someday where it's just great wrestlers and their weird brothers. It's one of my favorite wrestling deep dives. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think Johnny Ace lost his voice in like All Japan.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was wondering who he lost his voice to, like who elbowed him.
Did
I'm
Baba
Googling
did Baba,
it right now.
Did Baba give him the big chop?
Yeah.
I always love that move.
The rumors are, I guess it was a tag match. It was maybe either Dr. Death Steve Williams or Stan Hansen.
Oh, I wonder.
Stan Hansen has that lariat. So
I see. I don't know if I believe Dr. Death because I've heard stories of old wrestlers being like, you watch Dr. Death and he looks so tough, and then you're in the ring with him and you don't feel anything. Like he's just got like the best working punch. Nobody says that about Stan Hansen.
Yeah.
Like
he would try to behead people.
Well, he was blind. He was legally blind, and he wasn't going to wrestle his big dorky glasses on because he was a scary cowboy. So he would just hit people and knock their eyes out of their head, legitimately.
It was so funny when CM Punk would call him Funk Man. Because of Super Dave Osborne on Larry David. Yeah, really fun stuff.
Oh, we miss CM Punk.
So, Zia, any predictions for season 7? We know the house is going to be a big storyline.
Yeah.
What would you like to see?
I think the house is going to be a big storyline. Also, a behind the scenes thing, because of when they moved, I did hear that they had to evacuate their houses because of the fires in California. So I do think we're going to hear about some of that. I think that they are hinting at coming back to WWE. So I think that we might hear about their road to coming out of retirement.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Brett? What do you see?
I'm hoping we get more Daniel and the Shaman. You know, I feel like they got to do that every season. They got to get him doing something. Maybe next time it'll be some sort of I don't know. What's a fun drug that people like to do? Maybe they do ecstasy. Maybe he'll bring ecstasy home for they're like, oh, I got it from I don't know. It'll be fine. What do you think, Brett?
Well, first off, between Papa Shango being a recurring character on the show and the Q Shaman in the Worst Royal Rumble, we've had a lot of shamans on on this program.
That's true. We're very spiritual.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to the episode where Brian gets the haircut. I feel like that's going to be a whole
I know.
thing.
I gotta say, in that clip you showed when he was all clean shaven, I really like that. I really like that D-Bry. Short hair. Now he has that like slick back look, which I also don't think is horrible. But Darren, I can tell you disagree.
I saw a cut. It was like every wrestler in WWE with this exact haircut, and they all have it. Like Rhea
Everybody
Ripley
has
has
the
it.
undercut,
Shinsuke has it.
That's because they have I responded to this thread too. It's because they have a barber on staff now, and that's what happens when you get a barber. He's gonna give you all the same cut.
That's right.
I noticed Drew Gulak has that cut too, and he always posts of like him with the barber, like, check it out. 6
Yeah, it just looks like they're like a second away from all grabbing tiki torches with that haircut, though.
Oh
it's
boy,
like a real fine line. Like you can't wear Fred Perry with that haircut, you know. Trent Seven, watch out, you know. Like just be careful.
Yeah, Daniel thankfully only wears like weird, oversized like shirts with weird like loose collars and you know.
He wears like the LL Bean, the LL Bean collection, Yeah.
Well, this was fun. I'm so glad we got to talk. We wanted to talk about Total Divas for months, but we were like, we don't know.
It's been on our it's been on our slate since we started this because, you know, between that and I also like Ms. and Mrs. too. I think that's like a fun show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad. It's worse. It's much worse than Total Bellas, without a doubt. It's such garbage.
Yeah. I think it is, like, and that's the thing. I'm really happy that this came up naturally between, like, we discovered that we all watched Total Bellas because
that's nice.
It's not
I feel,
a thing. Yeah,
I feel less
walking
alone
around
in the world.
telling people that.
Yeah, I feel much less alone. You know, it's pandemic year. It's real tough. So this is giving me. I feel like I've connected with some people today.
Yeah, because it's like with Total Divas as well. It's almost like you feel a little bit more comfortable talking about that one because it still links to wrestling in some way.
Right.
And Total Bellas is like you're stepping out. Like now you are following the people, like not even wrestlers anymore.
Ain't gonna stop me now. All right. Well, see, if we want to find out, first off, if we want to find out more about your photography, you could just tune in upcoming in March on the road to WrestleMania. You'll be back to do this gallery showing on our show. But if people want to see stuff beforehand, where can they find you?
I am on Instagram at Zia_shoots_wrestling. Pretty straight to the point. And I'm on Twitter, but you really don't need to follow me on Twitter because I'm not that funny anyway. So just check out my wrestling photos on Instagram. And
Darren,
that's it. It's all easy plug. That's all I got.
That's it.
Darren, you got your WFMU show?
Oh God, don't remind me. I'm a little behind this week. I got to work on my premium that I have for my WFMU marathon show. We do a premium. All the DJs do a little. Some people do a T-shirt. Some people do socks. I'm doing an old-fashioned compact disc. So get your Walkmans out. Yeah, I know everybody does CDs because WFMU. I love WFMU, but maybe a little technologically in the past a little bit. But that's okay. It's retro, right? It's vintage.
Yeah.
But I got to work on my mix, so I'm thinking about that. But that will have a slight wrestling connection. The cover art will be well, Brett, you're doing the cover. I think you're going to be my graphic designer. So we have an Aja Kong and Dump Matsumoto.
We got the Villainous Alliance. It's going to be Cranio, Bull Nakano, and Dump Matsumoto. Ideally, you pick without a swastika.
We're gonna try to keep the swastikas off the.
Matsumoto wears swastikas. It's a Japanese thing. I don't know.
It's more than that, maybe. But it's fine. I do love Dump. Probably the only Nazi I like. I would say probably. I'm not gonna say probably. I'm gonna say the only one. I wouldn't even say she's a Nazi. I don't know. She got the swastika. I don't know. It's fine. But so I got to work on that. That's gonna be a bunch of. I forget the title, but it's the dark side of Japanese DIY music from the 1980s. So if you're a Japanese music fan, it's gonna have a lot of deep cuts, a lot of like punk stuff, a lot of synth stuff, a lot of post-punk stuff. So check it out. That'll be coming out next month. We'll talk about that more. But my show's 3 to 6 a.m. Saturday into Sunday night. If you can't sleep, if you got something on your mind, if it's just if you're upside down because of the pandemic, turn on the radio and I'll yell at you for 3 hours and it'll be fine.
And there's an archive if you don't want to be up at an ungodly hour.
As you can listen to the archive, yep, I've got, I've got over 150 shows. Oh, not 150. I have over 100 shows, which would be 300 hours of music. I play tons of new music all the time. I'm constantly digging for music, which is very difficult. Finding new music in the pandemic is very hard. Most people I know at least find bands at shows, or like whatever. So I do all that work every week to try to find new music. So check it out. 3 to 6 a.m. WFMU.org for the archive. And that's it.
All right.
And Brett, what do you got coming up?
Well, you could check. I was recently rewatching a web series the two of us made for IFC called Boy Band.
That's right.
Continuing my thread of not plugging anything that I'm working on now because I'm not working on anything besides this. Check out IFC's Boy Band starring me, Darren, Julio Torres, Anna Fabregas, Joe Firestone, and Dresden, Matt Baratz. It's an all-star cast. Ike Famadou. It's a great thing if you like fun comedy, and maybe it's bad. I don't know. It's been years. I didn't watch it all, but
yeah, I remember. I remember making it. We didn't. It was one of those. It was like Wong Kar-wai. We're gonna make it without a script.
Oh yeah. Well, we also had like shoots. The police came and like broke up some key shoots and stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did have the police involved.
IFC did not give us a ton of money to make it, but yeah, you could find all that. If anything, just watch the beginning of the intro and watch when Darren's character is introduced. It's the funniest thing in the world to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Darren, take us away.
All right, for Brett, for Zia, this is WFMU's Wrestling Club. Check us out on Instagram, Wrestling Club WFMU, Twitter, Wrestling Club, Wrestling_Club_. I'm Darren. Be back next week. Take care. Bye-bye.